So I imported this track here, and what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and grab this beat from it. So we're going to do this. I'm just going to find the beat. Oh yeah. Dope, right? And now you can hear it, so it sounds so much better, right? Yeah. So, right, so I'm going to grab this beat right here. Well, not there. Hold on, right here. Cool, so we got that there, boom. So I grab that, I'm gonna grab this over here, delete you, go back to the beginning, and now we got this beat right here. So I like this one. Awesome. Cool, awesome. So what you may be wondering is how I grabbed this beat so quickly. So let me just show you what I did here real quick. And this is a couple things, something that we learned about yesterday and something we didn't learn about yesterday. And that's right up here in the top. Now, when I zoom in like this, I know for a fact that it actually zooms in this thing. So much better. I can actually show you stuff better than in the program called Zoom. Hey. So here's a button here called Tab to Transients right here on the left-hand side. This Tab to Transients button, what it does is it allows me to, down here in my waveform, this here is a transient, right? So the transient is like the spike in the beginning of a wave, right? So if I hit tab, if I have that Tab to Transients button turned on, and I hit tab, now it just moves right over to that transient, and now I can hit Command E to delete, and boom, there we go. So that is, that's that. Hold on one second. Oh, I gotta set this up. William Black, where's my roll? There you are. Boop. Cool. All right. So we got that there. So now if I hit play on this, right? So there it is. I'm going to tab to transient on that one right there. Hit tab, hit Command E to get rid of it. And now the loop that I've got should be a perfect loop. Awesome, and that is a perfect loop. Here, I'm just going to drag this down here. That is a perfect loop, which I'm a fan of. Okay, so that's how I got that perfect loop right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go up here, and if I want to get this this clip here to be all the way at the beginning, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit shuffle mode and double click 1, 2. And hit delete, and now it puts it over in the beginning there. So we're good there. So now the next thing I want to do is I want to find out what tempo this is at. You say you're lost. Lost, how lost? What are you lost? How are you lost? Tell me how you're lost. So basically all I'm doing is I'm just showing how we imported the audio. So the audio that I had, the beat loops, I'm just basically just doing what I had done before again. I'm just doing it again. Oh, the transient thing. It's actually okay to be a little bit lost on that for now because we're going to go over it a bunch more times. We're going to talk about transients, but just real quick so we're not too far lost is transients are these things here. So here's a transient. This here is a transient. This is a transient. The beginning part here, see where it's like a drum beat? That's a transient. And this is a word we're going to hear a lot as we go through things, and you're going to hear it a lot, so you're going to get used to it. But what I'm talking about right now is I can use my tab key to move to each of those transients. See how it's moving to the transient right there? You can see on my screen. If I zoom in, boom, it moves to that transient. See over here, if I click over here and I click the tab key, it'll move forward to the next transient, right? And that's all I'm talking about. So I can use that and hit Command E to separate out the clip if I want to, right? And so that's what I just did. I just used transients to cut the beginning and the end of the clip so it's a perfect loop. Right? So, and then what I want to do next is I want to find the tempo of this clip. And so we imported the audio and I want to find the tempo of this clip. So the way we find the tempo of this clip is, first of all, I need to figure out how many bars this is. So somebody tell me, how many bars is this? How many bars is that? It's not 4 bars. It is not 8 bars. It is 2 bars, yes. Now, Sabaz DDP, you might be confused because it's 8 beats. But 8 beats equals 4 bars. Because you have, 2 bars. Because you have 4 beats in 1 bar. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, right? So you got 1 bar, 3, 2 bars, 1 bar, 2 bars, like that, okay? So you have the 2 bars there. It's 2 bars long, right? So now we've got that, and what we're going to do is we're going to tell Pro Tools that this is actually 2 bars. We're going to tell Pro Tools exactly how many bars this is. And from that information, Pro Tools is going to tell us what the tempo is. Okay? So the way I do this is I make sure I've highlighted it. And over here in the left-hand corner, this one here that says link, timeline, and edit selection. Make sure that's turned on. So I've got that on right there. On. Boop. And I hit Command I. Now, Command I, it has my add bar beat markers. So what I can do is I can tell it, okay, the start point is 1, 1, which is it is. It should be fine. The end is actually, since we decided it's 2 bars long, so the end is actually the beginning of bar 3. It's the downbeat, 3, 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to 3, and I'm just going to type in 3. And it changes that part here automatically to 1. Okay? So now I'm going to hit OK. And now Pro Tools tells me what my tempo is. And it tells me the tempo is 92.9122. So now, if I put on a metronome, let's go ahead and put a metronome in here. Here's my metronome. Let me get my, I don't have it. Hold on, I'm just going to go ahead and change this to a sound that I don't hate. That one's okay. Hold on, let's get... I guess I could, hold on, let's listen. I just want to, okay, whatever, here, we'll do this. That's fine. Okay, so I got that sound there. So now let's listen at with the thing. Cool, and it sounds pretty good. What we're going to do in a future lesson, when we're working with Elastic Audio, we're going to clean this up even more. But I'm going to wait to do that. We're not going to do that right now. Right now, we're just kind of getting things started here. Okay, so we've got this here. And now let's go to the notes. So that's our drag and drop. We just moved that in here with the import audio. So what we're going to do now is let's find some other samples to go with this. And we're going to do this by dragging and dropping. Now, dragging and dropping, what that means is we're literally just going to take it from our Finder window over here. So I'm going to go in here and we're going to say, all right, let's go to our desktop. Let's go to our hard drive, sample libraries, and we're going to go in here and say, Let's get some stuff from a good one that I like is noise, but it's actually called, I have it in here, sample phonics. And let's go to hands up. Hands up, what? Hands up. And let's get some drums from here, some top lines. So, these are probably, okay, fine, whatever. Here, I'm just gonna grab, I don't know if y'all probably can't hear that, so I'm just gonna drag it in. And what I can do is I can just drag it in here like this, boom. So as you just saw, you actually don't need to have, you don't need to go through the whole Command-Shift-I. You can just drag stuff in. And you can drag it in anywhere. You drag it into the gray area down here. What it's going to do is it's going to put it after your last selected track. So if I want to put stuff at the end here, then I have to make sure I select this last track here on the end. So if I do that, or I'm going to go over here, I'm going to grab some other beats from different places. And what we're doing really is we're just, I'm building this up so we can talk about the next lesson here as well later on this week. So I got some loops here. I'm just going to listen to these. Okay, that's a cool little loop. And I can just drag it in. Now, when you're dragging stuff in, a couple things to keep in mind that I want you to keep in mind is that this, why? Oh, interesting. Huh. So a couple things I want you to keep in mind. One, when you drag it into the gray area, it's going to make its own track. And it names the track based on whatever the name of the file is. So this file is called 96loop01sp, and it named the track that. Okay. The next thing is, when I drag something in here, whoops. When I drag something in, it's going to put it wherever I put it, like this. But what if I want to put it at the beginning of the track? So let me go ahead and get rid of that. If I want to put it at the beginning of everything, so everything just starts here on at the top, I can put my edit mode into shuffle mode right here, shuffle mode. And if I'm in shuffle mode, when I drop it in, it's going to be at the top of everything. Let me just go ahead and do this one. Let's grab one here. And I'm just going to drag it in. I move it over and I let go. And you can see it put it at the beginning of everything. Now, Pro Tools is also doing a thing where it's actually changing the beat loop to fit everything else. And that is that's a new feature in Pro Tools where it's doing it automatically. It used to not do it automatically. Let's just see if there's something I can turn off here. Operations, because this is a brand new version of Pro Tools that I'm using. It's like brand new, like super new. Why is this on? And I'm not sure. I don't know where that actually, it used to be in processing. Enable elastic audio on new tracks. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have that turned on. Interesting. All right, whatever. We're gonna leave it as it is. Okay, so we got this here, got this, different things, and we're not going to talk about it right now. But once we talk about elastic audio in the next couple days, we're going to show about how to like make all these work together really well. Today, I'm just going to talk about editing and doing some like little clips and cutting them up and stuff like that. So that's dragging and dropping, and you can drag them in to the edit window, is what I just showed you. You can also just drag stuff into the clips list. And if I just want to drag it in here without it going into a track, I can just grab something. Let me just go over here and grab, let's grab something from Pajama Beats. I like this guy's stuff. Let's grab a piano part in here. And we'll just use this one here, whatever this is. I'm going to drag it in to my clips list. And you can see it pops up right over here. There it is. Okay. So now from here, I can drag it into my session. I'm still in shuffle mode, so I can drag it down to the bottom. It'll just make a new track for me. Boom. And there we go. So if I push play on this, Let me turn off my click. Cool. So what I'm going to do with this here is I'm just going to grab this one. I'm going to grab another track from the same thing, another clip. I'm going to put it into the clips list. Oh wait, cancel. Boop. Hold on a second. Did I grab the same? Oh, I grabbed the same one. Oh, interesting. Wait. 2, 3. Huh? Weird. What is this one? Maybe it's the same. Oh, cool. Well, you're welcome. All right, so I got this here. True piano. Boop. Oh, they all have the same. Why do they all have the same stamp? Weird. Here, let's do this. Let's drag it into this part here. I'm going to turn off my shuffle mode. I'm going to put this one on here. Stamp the file. And this is just, you know, whatever this dude's playing, whatever. I'm going to use, let's use this Veggies piano. Let's see what that sounds like. Okay, well, we're going to use this one here. So I got this here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this up using the stuff that I talked about yesterday. So we're going to go ahead and take this right here. Cool. Hit Command E to cut that right there, boom. And over here, the tab to transient thing I just showed you, like that. Cool, like that, boom. I got this here. And I'm going to cut this one as well. Boom. And let's go over here to this one. Cool. And I like this bleed that we're getting. It's kind of a bleed. It's kind of cool. So here's this. Boom. All right. So I'm going to get rid of all these extra things. And now I've got this. Okay. Now you're going to notice a couple things. One, there's a little bit of a pop on it. And you can hear that pop. And let's get rid of that pop in the beginning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom way in. And I'm just going to do a little fade like this, right there, boop. And I'm going to go to the end over here, and I'm going to do a fade like this. Little fade, and now if we listen to that, there will be no pop. Cool, right? Okay. And if I want to fade this out even more, I can do a fade on it like this. And as we saw, we can actually do that. So let's listen. Cool. That's a nice little piano chord. We could take and sample that. These vids will be on YouTube. Make Beats New York. Absolutely. So I'm going to do the same thing with this one here. Do a little bit less of a fade. Cool. That sounds good. Now let's go to this last one over here. Little beginning part. Cool. And that one already has a fade on it, so I don't need that. I don't need to fade that one. That one's already got a fade. Cool. So now I got all three of these. Now, if I want to take these and just smash them together, I could just smash them together by using shuffle mode. Up here in the left-hand corner, I got shuffle mode turned on. I double-click, I hit delete, and I hit delete by double-clicking and hitting delete. And so now if we listen to these, cool, okay. Now, that's okay, but it doesn't really fit the beat that we had going on here. And I'm going to use this beat here that says drum loop, because that's the one we had. But is that the one? This hand clap, wait, is it the hand clapping one? Yeah, this one here. I like this hand clapping one. So I'm going to use this, and I'm going to use my piano part here. Chrissy, yes. Yes, I will be posting these. Everybody say hi to Chrissy. She just finished Mod 2. She's now in Mod 3. So I got this here, this beat loop here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these piano stabs and I'm going to move them around a little bit more so they actually fit this beat a little bit better like this. So if we, like this, here we go. Cool. Awesome. So now we have our cool little piano loop here. All right, and that's just audio that we dragged in, all right? So a couple things when we're talking about importing audio and stuff like that. The track that you make must have the same number of channels. I'm reading the pink part right now. Must have the same number of channels as the audio file. Mono is a mono and stereo is stereo. You can't drag a mono audio file onto a stereo track, but you can drag a stereo audio file onto two mono tracks. Let me just show you what I mean by that. That's kind of a weird thing, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and let's make a couple mono tracks here. Let me go ahead and make all these like this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new mono audio file. Audio track is right down here. I'm going to actually deactivate these because we don't need these for right now. So I'm going to hide and make inactive. Oh wait, I do want this one. I want that one. And the other ones we're going to use when we start talking about elastic audio. So I'm going to hide and make inactive. Boop. So now they're not bothering us. We don't have to look at them or nothing like that. All right. So got this, and let's grab okay, so I've got this one here. Hold on one second. Okay. So I have my audio files that I recorded before. Now, these two tracks right here and here are both stereo tracks. How do we know they're stereo tracks? Because the waveform has two waveforms on it. It's got a left and a right. Also, if we go back over here, see how this line has two little meters on it? You got 2 meters here. That's another way to see that we're a stereo track. And also, the pan here has a left and a right. So that's the ways we can see if it's stereo or mono. So those are stereo. The mono track, by contrast, only has one of each of those things. So it's only got one level here. It's only got one pan here, and it's only got one waveform here. See, only one waveform. So that's how we can tell stereo versus mono. So if I take a mono track over here, and in my clips list, I can tell they're mono versus stereo because this one here has the stereo files have a little arrow next to them so you can actually drop them down so you can see the stereo left and right. And if I pull this out, let me just pull this out real quick. They also say the word stereo next to them. So that's how we can tell stereo. See how these say stereo, right? But these down here don't say stereo. They only have like a thing. They don't have this little triangle thing. So these are mono files. So if I drag a mono file in, I can drag it into this part right here, no problem. But I can't drag it into this part up here. See, I'm dragging it and there's no yellow box. Down here, box appears. Box, we have a box. Up here, no box. All right, so that's how we can tell mono versus stereo stuff. All right, cool. So that is that one there. All right, so what I want to do is, let's go ahead, hold on, let's just see this here. Let's see what's on this next page. When you drag an audio file onto the Edit Windows gray space, it will automatically create a new track. I talked about this, with the correct number of channels, and it will name the track the same name as the audio file. So that's what I already talked about there. All right, record modes. There are different record modes. We have normal, loop, and quick punch. I've got my microphone. Yeah, cool. Okay, we got this here. Okay, so normal, loop, and quick punch. And you can get to these different ones. They're right here in the record in our transport up here. If you right click and you've got, right click here, right click, you got normal, loop, and quick punch. There's also destructive. We're going to talk about destructive in just a second. But we got normal record mode, loop record mode, and quick punch record mode. And that's right here in the notes, right here. Just go to my setup. External headphones. Okay. I'm going to have to change this real quick. Let's see. And Pro Tools wasn't liking it when I was doing this before. That's why I turned it off. But let's just try this real quick. This wasn't working too well before, but I have to, I've got Pro Tools set for, let's do this. Let's set this for the audio, external headphones. Okay, let's try this. Let's try Universal Audio Thunderbolt and see what happens. Maybe it'll work. I haven't done it with this loopback machine thing, so let's just listen to this. So, got this here. Oh, great. Wow. Cool. Seems to work right. All right, good. So we got that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up my microphone. There's my mic. And I'm going to be like, check, 1, 2, check, 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 check. Let's go over here to input. There we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, check, check, check. And let's see, check, hey, 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 hey. Good, we're getting our inputs. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to adjust my gain. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now I want to show you something real quick before I go too far with this. I'm going to do this with my this here. So I'm going to pull this over here like this, and we're going to go look at this. Where is it? Right there. Pull it back a little bit. Okay. So if I want to make my microphone louder, hey, check, 1, 2, check, check, check. I push the preamp button on here, and you can see it switches between my different inputs, and now I can adjust my input level. So if I want a lower level, I just do that, and hey, 1, 2, check, 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 1, 2, check, 1, 2. Or if I want like a higher level, hey, check, check, 1, 2, check, check. And what I'm doing is I'm just check, check, 1, 2, check, check. A, 1, 2, hi, hi, hi. Hi, mom, hi. Okay, like that. Check, 1, 2, check, 1, 2. And you can see, there we are. Check, 1, 2, hey, hey. Now I've got a good solid level on there. And that's what you want to make sure you've got. I'm also going to go ahead and, since we're doing, I clipped a little bit, but I'm not going to have it so close to my face. I'm going to turn on my low cut there. Check, A, check, 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 check. All right. So that's just a little behind the scenes of what's going on here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this up so it goes and it records in a loop. So let's check out what the loop record does. So this is I'm going to rename it. Whoops, hold on. Let me change my scene, desktop. So I'm going to rename it to Tony record, like that. And I'm going to go in here, I'm going to say A, and I'm going to count along with my tracks. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to hit the record button here, and I'm going to mute this and unsolo these. I don't need them soloed anymore. So I'm going to do like that. I'm going to hit 3, and we're going to go ahead and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, oops, wait, that was not loop recording, sorry. Put this in loop record, let's do it again. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now, the good thing about loop recording is that when I'm recording by myself, it actually will it'll automatically continue back around from the beginning again. So I can record the same little part as many times as I need to. And I need to do it more than once with this because I'm starting right on the beginning, and if I hit record, I miss the 1, right? So I can do this. Now, one other thing you're going to notice if I play this back for you is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, right? The reason why it's so behind is because right now my audio signal is running from Pro Tools into this app called Loopback into my OBS software, which I'm using to go to Twitch, and then from there it's going into my headphones. It's going through like 3 different softwares or 2 different softwares. So it's going to be, there's latency, right? So what I'm going to do to fix that latency is I'm just going to go in here, I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to move I'm just going to move it back. I'm going to go ahead and trim this over like this. I'm going to put it in slip mode. I'm going to move this one. I don't need all that selected. I'm going to move this one back like that. There we go. Now, wait, hold on. I had both of them selected. Why did it? No, it's weird. So do this, move it back, and I'm looking at this part right here. This is the part I'm looking at. My eyes are on this little waveform right here, so I can see where that waveform is in relation to everything else. And I'm looking at the other ones as well. You can see the transients over here and over here. I'm looking at all these parts, but I'm really focused on this one. So now let's listen to it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? And now it sounds much better than it sounded a second ago. And I'm going to go ahead and put this like that, and drag the beginning part back a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. How did you go in the trip mode? I don't know if that means trip mode. Trip mode? Explain trip mode. What do you mean by that? Slip mode. Slip mode. You probably mean slip mode. How did I go into slip mode? I used my shortcuts. So the shortcuts, it was in Canvas yesterday. Here, let me show you the Canvas notes. Yeah. Thank you. That took me a second. If we go into this one from yesterday, slip mode right there, F2. Okay, so and all these things, like we're going pretty quick, but this one here this stuff is super important. So I recommend that you go through and you like kind of learn this stuff as best you can. It's hard if you're not using it. Obviously, once we get into class and stuff like that, you'll be able to get it better. But oh yeah, slip mode. So F2. Yep, that's how I went into slip mode. So now. And I'm just using my shortcut keys here on my keyboard. I'm just using my shortcut keys to kind of move around. And what I'll do is tomorrow I'll set up a camera to show my keyboard so you can see my hands on my keyboard, and I'll have that here instead of my face, or maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. But I got a couple ways I can set it up. I can get fancy since we're using Twitch. I can get more fancy on Twitch. So. Do this now. What I want to show you with this is 1, 2, 3. What I want to do is I want to edit these right here. So I'm going to grab this one here and Command E to cut it, and I'm also going to Command E this one to cut it like that. And I'm just using my trim tool. This is all stuff we did yesterday, and I'm going to move it back a little bit because I found that these are like a little bit fast. So now let's listen to it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. All right. So there we go. So now it sounds better. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, cool. 3, 4. 1, 2. Awesome. And that's sounding really good there. Now, let's say that I like this clip, and you can see I've done a little bit of like what we talked about yesterday, like using some of the tools and stuff like that we went really quickly. But let's just go ahead and a little bit, let me slow down and show you this one more time since we've heard what it can sound like. Let me go ahead and make it, explain it to you better. So, Andre, you're saying, is there a slip mat for keyboards with Pro Tools shortcuts, and would you recommend it to memorize faster? The answer is yes and yes. There is a mat, like a cover that you can put on your keyboards, and I highly recommend it if you're trying to use Pro Tools. Basically, whatever DAW you're using, if you're using Pro Tools or Ableton Live or whatever, normal everyday life, I recommend getting that cover because they're pretty cheap these days. Now you can get them for like $16 or $20 or something. All right, so what we're going to do is let's take a break for 10 minutes. Let's come back in 10 minutes at 11:30, and we're going to continue where we left off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I just did in like slow motion. I'm going to explain everything a little bit more with what tools I'm using and stuff like that, all right? Because I want to make sure that we're getting everything really well, okay? So that's what we're going to do at 11:30. So be back here at 11:30.